What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Living Blessed, the podcast. I'm your host, Jovan J. Palmer, and as always, we got very great and special people on the podcast sharing special and vulnerable moments. Got no other than my brother from another, Brandon.
What's up,
Long
man?
time coming.
Long time coming.
How you
brother.
feeling, man?
Hey, man, I can't call it. I might spoil it, brother.
That's where you're the oldest, youngest dude I ever met.
If I had your hands, I'd cut mine off.
Man, appreciate you coming through, man.
No problem.
We've been asking this for what, since last year?
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
He called me the other day, like, hey, can you do Tuesday? I was like, I got you.
Appreciate you, man.
So,
I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
It's dope, man. I'm excited about your story, man. 'Cause I know it's a story worth telling.
It's a lot.
And from what you told me, I'm like, yo, this is a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked in group homes and I've worked in foster care, but I think your story is a little different from what I've seen. I think because it's the actual story of somebody who's actually been inside of it.
Yeah, firsthand.
Yeah, but so just introduce yourself, man. Let people know who you are.
Hey, guys, I'm Brandon Abrahams. Grew up in New York, moved out here to Atlanta when I was about 13 years old. In 2001, I got adopted by my uncle and my aunt. But I'm just a regular guy, man. I'm a regular guy who's been through some stuff, been through a whole lot of stuff. And me and Javon been talking forever, and he is always like, you gotta get vulnerable on my show. And I said, I'm ready. So, any questions you got, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to answer. I'm ready to tell my story, I guess.
All right.
So
you said your aunt and uncle adopted you.
Yes.
Tony adopted you?
No,
Or Tony's
so
your
his
uncle?
brother. Tony is my uncle.
Oh.
Yeah, so Tony is my dad's brother.
Like your biological?
My biological father's
Okay.
brother. But
What's up, family? Have you ever not been yourself around a world of people and tried to be yourself, but you just couldn't? Listen, my boy Brenton got this clothing line. It's called Doers Clothing, but this is like my tagline, my travel shirt that I wear everywhere I go. Be you, they'll adjust, man. If you learn to be yourself, the people will adjust to you. The best person you can be, the best version of yourself that you can be is yourself. So listen, go on to the link below, doersclothing.com. Copy your clothes. Use the affiliate link, Jovan Palmer. The link is gonna be down in the description. Use the link, Jovan Palmer, to get nice little discount off your merch, doersclothing.com. Be you, they'll adjust. Back to the episode. Peace.
their other brother, Chris, is the one who adopted me.
Gotcha.
At the time, my biological father was in prison, and he'd been in and out of prison my whole life, dealing drugs and other such fooleries. But so yeah, my uncle and aunt decided to adopt me and bring me here to Atlanta. So it had been a lot of stuff leading up to that, though. Of course, my biological mother, we had a whole lot of craziness going on in the house, I could say. She was real. So I didn't know at the time, but my mother was having an affair with my uncle while my father was in prison.
Dang, I thought it only didn't happen in black
Not my
families.
Uncle Tony and not my Uncle Chris. They have another brother, their older brother, whose name was Terrence, and he was actually murdered in 1991. So the way this all came out was at my uncle's funeral, like my mother was just going crazy, like she was just going crazy at the funeral, right? My father came in like full orange jumpsuit, shackles.
Oh, you could do a lot of that in New York.
Yeah, because his brother died. His brother got murdered. So like my mother's going crazy at this funeral, like and all my family's like,
why is she bugging out? What's going on?
like, what's up, right? So anyway, we found I knew I used to see my Uncle Terrence all the time, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's why I was seeing him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh.
'cause he used to be at the house all the time. Like, I'm just my Uncle Terrence is here.
Yeah, he kicking it.
My uncle's here. So, anyway, so what happened was my Uncle Terrence died. My mother, something happened. Something triggered in her. So, backstory to that, my mother was physically abused and molested as a child by one of her mother's boyfriends. And I didn't find this out till I was years later. I was in a group home, and like I saw my file, and I was reading my file, and it had like the backstory on like
Yeah,
the
that's
history,
like your
like,
history book. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I'm reading, I'm like, what, like, and
Were you supposed to have that book?
so I got
you-
really cool with the counselor there,
Uh-huh.
and she just let me read it one day.
Yeah, like that stuff is like kind of like confidential.
supposed to be
even from the
confidential.
kids, like you're not
Correct.
going to see it until you hit 18.
Right. So I'm reading this. I'm maybe like, I don't know, 12, maybe something like that, 12, something like that. And I'm reading this like, wow, I didn't know all this. So I knew my mother had some trauma because she told me that she had been through, you know, she had been in group homes and stuff like that and foster homes. And my grandmother had a nervous breakdown. Her husband was a heroin addict. And so it was a lot of like abuse and drug abuse going on in the house. So she had a nervous breakdown. And when that happened, the state came in and took my mother and her brother, and they put them in homes and foster homes and all that stuff. And she dealt with a lot of, you know, bullying and harassment and stuff like that, and you know, that kind of stuff. So anyway, back to my uncle dying, my uncle getting shot in New York. So my uncle gets shot. My mother is distraught, like crazy. So she goes and actually locks herself in a room for 2 weeks straight. And me and my brother, so in 91, I was 6 years old. My brother was 2. So like we had to go stay with the neighbor for like 2 weeks. She just wouldn't come out of her room. Like she would barely eat anything. Like she just stuck in her room. So after 2 weeks, she comes out of the room. After 2 weeks, she comes out of the room and she's like, she has this vision from God. I'm not making this up. So she has this vision from God that like she's supposed to, you know, start going to church and, you know, everything. So like my life went from us never going to church to now we in church every single day.
How every day, like Monday through Sunday?
Monday through Monday, my dog. Like church,
Golly.
like Bible study, prayer meeting,
Y'all
just being at the church.
cleaning the
Sunday,
church.
yeah, just there, you know, like we at the church.
How was that?
Crazy. So it began like so, and then like I'm being forced to, well, as a kid I used to love to read. So I read the Bible like through and through, but she would like make me memorize verses and, you know, make me do all that kind of stuff. She'd make me pray. And I'm not talking about church like I'm not talking about like church like you go to church, you say a prayer, and you're out of there. I'm talking about like
In there three
Pentecostal, shouting, fire and brimstone, speaking in tongues, getting slain in the spirit church. Like all that. Like people just being like crazy, running around the aisles, up and down, left and right, prophesizing, all kind of stuff. So like I'm 6, 7 years old and we're going through this transition, right? So you know, it was like I said, once my uncle passed, like something like really triggered in my mother and brought about like the best but the worst from her. Because now we started like I said, we never used to go to church, and I don't remember getting like a spanking up until this point.
So 6 years
Stay
old.
with me now. So we at home. I'm 6. I'm like my mom's best friend, right? And no church. I don't remember a spanking up until this point. Now my uncle passes away. She comes out with this epiphany or this vision from God that she's supposed to start going to church. Now I'm like getting beat. Like, and it's like spirit of rod spoiled the child is what she's telling us.
So what do you think caused the beatings to happen, like to start? Because typically you think like it'd be vice versa, like you're getting beat prior to church, and then your mom's joined church, and it's like, oh, you know what, I gotta stop beating my kids.
Right. It was the opposite. So it's crazy, like, so, and I'm not talking about like beat like I got spanking. I'm talking about like beat like bloody nose, like scratching on my face and like stuff like that, like craziness, like just going ballistic. And me and my little brother at the time, well, my little brother, we're going through this, and like I said, we're going to church. So now I'm equating all this to like, yo, I want to go back to not going to church no more. Like, everything was good back then. Like now we go to church and like I'm getting whooped and beat and like, and she would always say like her mother. She said her mother used to beat her, and which is brings up a whole nother story because I talked to my grandmother before she passed, and my uncle, her brother, and they don't remember that. So I don't. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I don't know, but I know me and my little brother was getting jacked up, like beat.
Like every day?
Not every day, like and not for no reason. Like we would do something. It wasn't like we were just coming in the house and she was beating us.
Got you. Okay.
But
okay.
it was so a lot of it stemmed from this, right? So, you know me, I'm a people person. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm extroverted. I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh. Things like that. So, like, when she got into church, it was now like you can't hang around with those friends anymore because they're heathens. They're gonna give you a spirit, like you're gonna get a spirit from hanging out with them. So you can't hang out with them no more. You can't like go to like party. Not, and I was a kid, but like little kid parties. You can't like you can't hang out with anybody unless they like in the church. Like that's it. Otherwise, you're gonna get a demonic spirit in you or something like that. All right. So I'm like, so I can't know, like only these people in the church, like. So anyway, so a lot of the stuff that I would get spankings for would be about that. Like I would like go like down to the basketball court and play basketball, or I would go. I had my god brother Kenny. Shout out to Kenny. We would like she just thought he was the worst influence on me. Like she didn't want me hanging out with him at all. And me and him would just like run the streets and do crazy stuff.
Yeah,
not
kid stuff.
Yeah, just kid stuff. Nothing like illegal or nothing like
Right.
that. But we would just do dumb stuff. So like a lot of my that stuff stemmed from me wanting to, like she got so bad with it, like she didn't want me to go to school. She wanted me to like and this is kind of like the beginning and the end of me and my mother's relationship. So she wanted me to like not go to school. I was in elementary school at the time, and I was just about to go to middle school. So she wanted me to not go to school. She wanted me to stay home and be homeschooled. What she called Christian homeschooling, which would be her like going to Walmart or ShopRite and getting me like a little booklet. You know those little workbooks, little activities in it, and like that was my school. Like that was what I wouldn't do it though. That's where the problems arrived. So like I did it for like a little while, like I did it for like a couple months, and I wasn't doing nothing. And I've always been really bright, but like when I was in school, I would get in trouble because I would talk a lot. I would be the class clown. You know what I'm saying? So I was like in special education classes, but I had to, for my behavior, but the work was so non-challenging for me, they had to put me in higher learning classes because the work wasn't keeping up with me. So it was like a constant battle.
The work wasn't keeping up with you.
Right. So like I would go, so like if I'm in a special education class, right, it might be like 12 kids in your class, right? Mm-hmm. All these kids, like in special education, they could have a learning disability, right? Or they could have a behavioral issue.
Yeah.
A lot of times the kids with the learning disabilities, you know what their problem is, they got a learning disability.
Right.
But a lot of times with the kids with behavioral problems, they have a behavioral problem and it could be because of a learning disability. Like they don't get the work, so it just causes them to just be like, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like just give up on it.
Okay.
And for me, it wasn't that. Like so like so I'm in the class with these guys, these kids, and they got learning disabilities or they can't really do the work. I'm doing the work in like 2 minutes and then I'm back to my old ways. Like, what's up, y'all? Let's party. I'm like, yo, like I'll get like the whole day's done the work like in an hour.
Really?
And it's like, I'm just like, what's up, y'all? Like, I'm ready. Like, we partying? What we doing? Like,
oh, so you
it was
really turned
crazy.
the class up.
I was turned up. Yeah, it was crazy. And looking at it now, it's just like, it's funny to me, but that caused a lot of stress on my mother because she used to have to get called to the school a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was getting suspended a lot. I was like I was in the principal's office like every day. I got so like I was like friends with the but everybody like I'm so cool with everybody. Everybody loves me. Even though I'm in trouble, I'm in there with like the secretary and we're talking and eating lunch together but I just gotta sit in there because I'm gonna distract the rest of the class.
Yeah.
So I'm like putting all the teachers' bills in the mailboxes, doing all these little errands. I'm like they little helper.
Yeah.
So like at any point the teacher, like if I'm just acting crazy in class, teachers be like, go to the principal's office. And I just stay there for the rest of the day.
Find something for you to do.
Just find stuff for me to do. And so anyway, so she tried to homeschool me. I wasn't with it because I'm here home alone. I was with my little brother, but he's 4 years younger than me, so it's like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's my little. You know what I'm saying? He's a baby to me. So I'm like I can't do this, and like that was the beginning of like my mother and I's real problems, because she kind of wanted me to be this certain way, like like sanctified and Holy Ghost filled child, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to go chill with my friends. I'm trying to go to the rec center and play basketball.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm on. I'm on kid stuff.
Absolutely.
Like I ain't trying to
be in church all day.
Holy Ghost rolling, holy rolling. And like she would it was crazy. Like she like the neighbors like in the project like where we lived, they all knew she was like the crazy church lady. She would come outside and be like pleading sprinkling the blood of Jesus on people. Like, what are you doing, yo? Like, like yo, craziness, bro. Like, but so anyway, me and my mother's issues kind of started, and like she really like the older I got, I used to help my mother with everything. Like my mother, she was on welfare my whole life, like so. Like I used to help her with everything, taking care of my brother. I used to like take all the laundry, like 2 blocks down the city. Like I'm 10 or 9, taking all the laundry to the laundromat. We didn't have no washer and dryer in the crib.
Right.
I'm taking all the laundry to the laundromat, washing it, drying it, folding it, everything, bringing it back home. Like she used to get food stamps, and it used to be this thing like you can't get like toilet paper with food stamps, or like you can't get like real things. You can only get food with food stamps. So you can't get soap or detergent or whatever. Yeah. So like in order for me to wash these clothes, so food stamps, I don't know if you remember, they used to come in a little booklet. Yeah. And it used to be like different, like it used to be ones. The ones was brown, right? So in New York, it's a whole lot of corner stores. Like every couple of steps is a store, right? So the jig is, if you give them $1 in food stamps, what they got to give you? If you buy something for 25 cents and you give them $1, what they got to give you?
75.
Ain't no food stamp change, so they got to give you 3/4 back. They got to give you 75 cents back. So in order for me to wash these clothes, because we ain't had no bread,
for a quarter.
I would have to go to like 15 different corner stores with $1 of food stamps and get back 75 cents. So I used to do this all the time, right? It was crazy. Before I could go take the clothes to the laundromat and wash them.
So it's like Tuesday, you got to go do all your.
I gotta get the money.
Get your money pick up.
I gotta get the money to do it, and then Wednesday we have. I'm at the laundry day, right?
Wow.
So and this, but like I helped my mother with all that, like help taking care of my brother, my little brother, at the time. And then she ended up having another baby, my baby brother. So I would help take care of both of them, but when she would get her food stamps and she would get that big food stamp check, I would take off of school. Like every day.
How do you just get the option to take off school?
I mean, she would let me. She would let me. We used to have a truant officer come to our house and everything. She was like, I needed his help. Like we had to go shopping.
And what did the officer say?
Nothing they could really do. It wasn't nothing they could do because I'm being truant, but like all my grades I got A's and everything. What can you say? Give me a test right now. I'm gonna ace it. What you saying?
Where do you get this from?
I don't know. I read a lot as a kid. Big, like long books. I just loved to read.
You watch Harry Potter?
I did watch Harry Potter. I read the books before the movies came out.
Did your mom let you watch? Because
she thought it was demonic.
Okay, mine too.
So my grandmother, my mother's mother, bought me. It was either Christmas or one of my birthdays back in this day.
Yeah.
And she got me one of the books. I think it was like the first book that came out. She's like, this is you know, she got me like the first 2 of them. She's like, this is the big crave and all this and that. My mother said no. She says it's witchcraft and, you know, all this. I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I just started watching Harry Potter.
Yeah, but I used to go to my school library and read books in there all day.
As a kid, you were intrigued to go to the library and read books.
I loved reading, bro.
I wish I had.
I loved reading, like, and I'm talking about like big, like Lord of the Rings, the Harry Potter books. Like I can't remember all the books I read. I used to read a lot about medieval times, like King Arthur and knights, and I don't know, bro. I was like, maybe it was like me trying to get away. You know what I'm saying? Like from what I was going through, you know, just on another, you know, to, you know, something else. And I just really enjoyed reading. So like, it would be times like I would be in my bed at night, like up till 2, 3 in the morning. I couldn't finish this book. Like I'm just like I'm
under the blanket
with a flashlight, because if my mother catch me, like I'm not supposed to be reading this book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or something. Like she gonna beat me. So I don't know. I was just always real smart. My father is really intelligent, just like a manipulative type. But you kind of got to be kind of smart to be manipulative.
Yeah.
I never seen a dumb person be manipulative. So I don't know. So like I said, the truant officer couldn't really say nothing because my grades is awesome.
Right.
The teachers couldn't understand it. They like, and I'm going to like therapy. I'm going to like counseling sessions, and they can't figure out what's wrong with me because I'm talking to them like this, and they liking me. Like they like, this kid is great. Like I don't know what's wrong with him. they like this kid is awesome. And I'm just like, yeah, and I'm just like, everybody was just, they just couldn't figure it out. So, and I'll get to how I broke out of that. But so my mother didn't want me to go to school. So I was gonna get these demons in me, whatever. I was hanging around with the wrong people. At this time, I'm like I said, I was going from elementary school and going into middle school. So now my thing is I'm starting to like girls and stuff. Like, so I'm like having a girlfriend and stuff like this. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing nothing. Yeah. But I got a girl. We might kiss or whatever. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we might kiss or whatever, hold hands in school or whatever. Anyway, so I feel like the older I got, the farther I got, the weaker my mom's and my relationship got. So mind you, all this time, you know, we've been dealing with like getting beat, punished, like can't go outside. I used to just run away. Like it was times I would just run away, like I had a friend back then, his name was Miguel Hernandez. If you ever watch this podcast, shouts out to you, Miguel. Because I tried to find him on Facebook, but I couldn't find him. But I used to go to his crib. His crib was like 2 houses down from my mother's house. Like,
and she didn't know that's where you were at?
She knew where I was, but she wouldn't come get me. Like she just wouldn't. Like I would just stay in his crib for days on end. Like his mother was he's Dominican. His mother was Dominican, father Dominican. They didn't speak no English. They had mad kids. So they had like 6, 7.
So you kind of just blended in.
Just blended in. Like so it's dinner time at the Hernandez family, and I'm just at the dinner table like I'm one of them. You know, like what's for dinner tonight, Ma? Rice and beans and chicken. Like this is it. Like
Did you pick up Spanish?
Yeah. I used to speak it much better than I speak it now because I used to have to use it every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, like me and Miguel, man, we were real tight, and we played on a basketball team together in middle school. And so we were just tight. We used to do everything together. And then my god brother Kenny. So anyway, all this is going on. So catalyst of all this, right? So me and my mother, we going through all this craziness. And I'm just starting going to middle school. I had this girlfriend I was dating. And back then, if you was dating somebody and they had like a chain, you would wear their chain. Her name. I used to wear her name chain, like a little gold chain on my neck. Right? Her name was Jennifer.
Okay.
So I had a little chain that said Jen.
Jennifer. Oh,
it said Jen. It said Jen.
Okay.
Right? So I don't know. One day, this is how it all started. This is how it all went crazy. Right? This was going crazy. So I'm wearing this chain, and I think I did something. Like I went somewhere, like to either a party or something. I did something. And I was hanging out with Jen, and I was hanging out with my peoples or whatever. And because it's New York, like you just walk. It's like it ain't like here where you got to get in a car to
Right,
go
you can
somewhere.
walk everywhere.
You can walk
Yeah.
everywhere, or you get on a subway or whatever. Like you know what I'm saying, it's New York. So I'm like, I was somewhere. I came back late, right? So my mother, so we throughout all this time, like with her doing all this beating and stuff like that, like we had people come to the house, like checking on our well-being and stuff, like Child Protective Services. So they had come to her and was like, you know, you need to start doing, you know, you don't need to beat them. You need to like do these other parenting techniques, like put them in timeout and stuff like this. Mind you, I'm like 11 years, I'm like mad big at this point. Like I'm like time out. Like so, you know what I'm saying? So like I'd rather just take the
take the
beating.
whoop.
Like,
Yeah,
like
beat me real quick.
I'm good, right? So what happens is I come back. I was going, and my mother says like, where have you been? I was just like, I've been out. Like I just been out, and she was like, stand in the corner. I was like, nah.
She told you to stand in the corner.
She was like, stand in the corner until I tell you to get out. I was just like, nah.
You see, you're 12 at this time.
Like 11,
11, 12.
11, 12, something like this, right? So I'm just like, nah, not doing it. And she was like, nah, stand in the corner. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just go to my room. I tried to go to my room, and like she grabbed like the back of my neck with the chain and like banged my head on the wall, and the chain broke. And so like the chain broke, I got so mad, I like did like this, like and hit my mother, and she flew like back against the wall. There's this big hole in the wall. So I'm just like, oh, you know, snap. Like what did I do? And so she called the police, and it's so crazy, right? So she calls the police. I get taken to this non-secure detention center. So what non-secure detention center means is you go to it's a detention center, but if I want to leave, I can just leave. They can't stop me. Can't stop me.
What's
right?
the point?
Because if you leave, when you go to your court date, you'll get in more trouble.
Oh.
So I'm waiting here in my court date. So I'm here for like a couple months, right? So mind you, I get into this this non-secure detention center. I'm with a bunch of people I already know, like people from a neighborhood, or people from my school, or people. One of these dudes was one of my dude's older brother, but they really be like about that life. So like we in there, we talking about hustling and all this, and like girls, and mind you, it's a co-ed spot, so it's got girls in it too.
Like you can mix and mingle with the girls.
It's girls and guys in the same. You're on the same, like you're in the different wings, but like y'all eat dinner together during the day. You like interacting or whatever. So I'm meeting girls and all this. We talking.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm talking to all these dudes, and they all like gang members. Blood. The place where I grew up, there was a lot of Bloods at. So my god brother Kenny is like this Blood. Like everybody knows him. And I just never wanted to get caught up in that, like in the gang stuff. But my god brother Kenny and my cousins are Bloods. They're all Bloods. My foster brothers, they all Bloods, all that kind of stuff. So, but I never wanted to join it. Anyway, but they all knew me as Kenny's brother. They knew that was my god brother. So all these people knew me. So, and this was going to save me later on down the road. So I'm in here with these, you know, folks, and we talking about hustling and all this stuff, right? Mind you, my father was a hustler. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I go to my court date, you know, for the stuff that happened with my mom, and you know, they tell me now I get put on like parole for kids. It's called PINS, person in need of supervision. So
you have like a behavior aid kind of with you.
Yeah, right. So they don't want me to, you know, so I got to go check in with this dude monthly, do drug tests and all this kind of stuff. I didn't really never do drugs, so I wasn't no issue or nothing like that. But I never like smoked, and like everyone's like very, 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 very seldom.
Rare occasion.
Rare, yeah. Just all right, let me try it, whatever. I would drink every now and again, but
At 12?
I used to drink and like smoke cigarettes and Black and Milds. That's about all I did.
At 12 years old.
12 years old. Crazy. Yep. Drink E&J, Bacardi.
You trying to die.
I mean, I wasn't trying to die.
I mean, you're an Erkin jerk.
It's the first time. So anyway, so mind you, I'm in here with these dudes. They talking about hustling, right? So, and I had been around all of this before, but it's like I never, like I said, even with the gang stuff, I never really wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But like so when I get out and I see like one of the dudes that I was in there with, one of my dude's older brothers, and he was like, "Yo, what I'm saying? You need to get on, like, you know what I'm saying? So, so basically that's how I kind of started like selling drugs, you know, as a kid. And, you know, so I was selling drugs and then, so I got caught doing it. Well, first I got stabbed, then I got caught.
You got stabbed.
Right. So I got stabbed. Somebody knew that I had like a package on me, ran up on me. Two dudes jumped me, stabbed me in the leg.
Were they Spanish?
Nah, they weren't Spanish. It was black dudes. So anyway.
What was you selling?
Weed, cocaine.
So you started off at the hard drugs. I mean, most people, like, if you start selling drugs, like, because I thought about it once upon a time, and I was just going to do, like, little small stuff like weed. But you did weed and cocaine.
Yeah. I would sell weed, like, in school, and then, like, sell crack, like, yeah, to the
junkies?
Yeah, to the junkies, to the fiends.
He's like a little modern-day Frank Lucas.
I mean, I wasn't that big in it. Like, so, and so what I used to do at this time, so, tell you how I got caught. I'm doing all of this, and I can't go to my mom's crib, right? So sometimes I wouldn't have somewhere to stay. Like, I could, like, I don't, it just might have been a situation where, like, I was out too late or something. I couldn't go to Miguel's house, or I couldn't go to somebody, you know, one of my people's house or whatever. So what I would do is I would, like, walk down a block and check car doors to see if they was open, and I would sleep in the back, right? So this is how I got caught. So one morning, I guess somebody came to their car, and I was in there asleep. They called the police, and I get waking up to the police arresting me, and I got the pack on me.
Dang.
Right? So I get sent to, so mind you, I'm on pins, I'm already on probation.
Oh, snap.
So this is my offense. Like, I'm about to go. So
some time.
Yeah, so they sent me to this place called DFY, Detention for Youth. Craziest place ever. So DFY
is upstate somewhere?
Upstate New York. Upstate,
okay.
Yeah, it's upstate. It's in like Binghamton or something like
that.
Yeah, somewhere way up there. Yeah,
that was weird. All the prisons are upstate. Yeah,
yeah, because they don't want you to be able to run away and just be right back.
Yeah.
So, so I'm up there. So DFY is crazy, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because as a kid, as a juvenile, this is a hardcore juvenile detention center. So as a kid, if you do something wrong, well, as an adult, if you do something wrong, you go to a prison based on what you did. Like if I robbed the old lady,
the level of what,
I'm gonna go to like a little rinky-dink, medium secure prison. If I murdered 8 people, I'm gonna be in maximum secure. I'm gonna be locked down 23 hours a day. Blah blah blah. When you're under 18, all of y'all are together. So like I'm in there for like selling a little weed, breaking into cars, and selling little drugs, breaking into cars, and it's a dude right here who killed his whole family, hung the dog, set the house on fire. He's really crazy. It's gang members right here. It's like these people.
So y'all all in just the same pod
area. It's like a detention center. So it's like a think of like this room. Like you see how the walls don't go all the way up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's like different pods broken down like that. So like you can we used to have like fights, right? And we would like take stuff like batteries and stuff, and we throw them over the walls, and it'd be like throwing them at people. Like so like we used to have it's to be crazy. It's to be crazy, bro. So this place, DFY, it was like a nightmare, bro. Like because it was just like they didn't give you shoelaces in your shoes because they didn't want you to hang yourself.
Yeah.
They didn't want you to hang nobody else. Like, kids getting raped in there, like right in the, you know what I'm saying? Like just craziness, like just crazy. And the thing remember I told you the thing that saved me is it's a lot of bloods in here.
Your cousin.
They know my god brother, they know my cousins. So they like, all right, don't mess with B. So I was kind of cool. I was just kind of, ducked off on my own. So I was only there for like 4 months. Craziest 4 months, dog.
Absolutely.
Crazy, right? So that happens, right? I get out of there, I'm like, yo, I ain't messing with none of this crazy stuff no more, right? So I go back to my mother's house, and something happens. My mother got evicted from her apartment, right? So they had this place where they would send like women like with children, single mothers, like they would put them in a shelter.
Yeah.
Mind you, backstory to that is my father used to beat my mother. And so like when we were younger, my mother used to go to all these different like battered women's shelters. So like we've been in the system, like I've been to these places multiple times. Like, so it was just a cycle that we kept repeating. Like she would, like my father would get out of prison, he would find my mother somehow. And, cause my father knew a lot of people in New York. He knew a lot of people. And so he would find out somehow where we stayed at and he would just show up. And no matter what my father did, no matter what I saw my father do, I always wanted to be with my father. Like he was my dad, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then because I didn't see him a lot, it was like when I did see him, it was like, oh, like it's my, you know what I'm saying? It's my dad.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, that put a hurt on my mother and I's relationship as well. So like I said, battered women's shelters, battered women. We used to go to like convents. We was like hid out in a convent one time with nuns and all this. It was just crazy, bro. Like, anyway, so she gets evicted from her apartment. We get sent to this homeless shelter for women with children. And it was crazy. So me and my little brother used to argue a whole lot. Like he used to irk my nerves. And like he used to try to follow me everywhere. And like I knew I wasn't doing the good stuff, so I never wanted him to be around me. So I would tell him like, yo, go away from me. Like, don't stop following me. And he just wouldn't listen. So I just had to beat him up for him to like go home crying. And he used to tell my mom like, Brandon beat me up. And of course she would resent me for that. Like, so when she saw me, like it'd be crazy. So our relationship is getting more and more strained. Like, so my mother and I, and I'll go back to the shelter thing. So like, it would be situations like for Christmas, my mother was on welfare. So we were supposed to, so for Christmas, my mother couldn't afford to buy us no gifts. So what we would do is we would write a letter saying, I want a remote control car or I want such and such, and put a list together and send it to the, the welfare office or whatever the office was, send it to. People like that had money would come by and look at the letters and be like, I'm gonna donate, I'm gonna buy this kid these presents, right? If nobody adopted your letter, they would give you like a gift card. Okay. So like to go to like, in New York, it's like Bradley's or like a Sears or something like that, where you can go get your toys or whatever, right?
Okay.
So I remember coming home from school one day. My little brother, he didn't write a letter, right? I wrote a letter for my Christmas gift, right? So I came home one day and my mother, I saw a brand new bike in the living room. I'm like, damn, somebody got a new bike. Where this came from? Mind you, I didn't know what happened. Yeah. So my brother got a new bike. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I go in the back. My mother, she got like this new coat hanging up. I know when my mother get new stuff. Like, it's like, we ain't got nothing. So you see something new in the house, it's like, something happened. Where you get this bread from? Like, you know. So she got these new boots and this new jacket hanging up, and I'm like, okay. I see it. I go into the bathroom. My baby brother was a baby at the time, and it's like a new potty seat on the toilet. So I'm like, where you get this money from? Yeah. Like, so I'm talking to my mother, like, where'd you get this money from? She's like, oh, your gift card came in for your Christmas gifts, and so I went out and I got your brother Aaron a bike, I got Judah a potty, and I got me some stuff. I said, mind you, I know we a family, so I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what you get me?
Right.
Like, that's cool. I don't mind sharing my little car with everybody. What you got me? Oh, I ain't get you nothing. You've been beating up your brother or something like that. Like, I remember I was so like hurt about this, bro. Like, this one moment was like, I was just like, so you took the card that I wrote for to get, and you bought everybody something but me?
That's foul.
I didn't get no Christmas gift that year, bro. No Christmas gift.
So how you feeling in this moment?
Crazy, bro. Like that made me. I think that was one of the moments where I was really like, yo, I'm done with my mother. Like, at that point, I was just like, it's a wrap. So back to the shelter. My mom got evicted from her apartment. So me, her, my two little brothers, we all living in this homeless shelter. Me and my little brother is arguing about something. We're in the cafeteria, like part of this place, and we're all eating. And so we're eating, and my brother's like messing with me. I don't know what he was doing. He was messing with me. So I probably like beating him up or something like that. I don't say when I say beat him, I'm not punching him in his
Yeah,
face
yeah,
and stuff.
roughing
I'm
him
like,
up,
roughing him
yeah.
up, like, yo, leave me alone. Anyway, so my mother, she just like snaps and like she starts like throwing food at me. Like, mind you, we're in this homeless shelter. Like, she's throwing food, she's cussing, just going crazy. CPS office, right on the bottom floor. So they see everything on the camera, on these cameras, right? And so they see everything on these cameras. They see her throwing the food, cussing at me, just all this crazy stuff. They come upstairs with an officer. They take me, my brother, me and both my brothers out of my mom's custody at that point. And we all go to a foster home together at that night. Like that, as soon as that happened, we all go to a foster home together. So we get to this foster home. This lady, love this lady. She's awesome. Her name's Catherine. She got her son. She's got her brother's 2 kids that she takes care of, and her daughter who's older with a baby that lives there. And it's like all of us in this like in this 3-bedroom apartment in the hood. It's all of us. So it's them. It's all them already. Her and her boyfriend, and then me and my 2 little brothers. She took us all in together. So we all living here together, and I loved it. Like, it was like I could talk to her about anything. Mm-hmm. She always made sure we had something to eat. She always made sure we were taken care of. Like, no matter what, like we was a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just made sure that we was good. And but my brother at the time, he was kind of into like the streets. My old foster brother, he was into the streets a lot. So I would be hanging out with him, drinking, smoking, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so my baby brother, they let him after like a couple months or so, mm-hmm. he went back to stay with my mom.
Really?
Right? Yeah, they let him go back to stay with my mother. They felt like he was not in no real danger or whatever. And then my younger brother, him and my mother hated the place where we were, because my brother, he's like an introvert, so like he didn't really get along with none of the people that was there, and like he didn't have the kind of relationship that I had with them. Right. So he went and basically him and my mother said that my foster mother's boyfriend, like they were in like a mall or something, and like he like hemmed him up or something like that. They didn't say he hit him, they just say he hemmed him up. Yeah. And so they had to come do this investigation. And so I ended up getting sent to a group home. So now I'm in a group home, and
just you by yourself?
First, me and my little brother go together because they're doing this investigation. Right. So first, me and my little brother go together. This group home is a co-ed group home, so it's boys and girls in it. So like my little brother's there, I'm there, there's girls there. I'm like going crazy, like I'm having the time of my life. I was having the time of my life, Joe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was having the time of my life, man. It was like
at the group home.
Yeah, it's like girls fighting over me and all kind of stuff. I'm like, yo, this is heavy. I never want to leave, yo. I never want to leave.
I've ever heard is I never want to leave a group home.
Never wanted to leave. I was cool with all the counselors. One of the counselors was like my cousin somehow, like through marriage. It was like this is where I met the counselor that let me read my mom's file. Oh, okay. So like I'm like.
You the homie.
I'm the home. Like everything is Gucci. And my brother's there. Uh-huh. So here's the messed up part. My brother's there. So anytime he would do something wrong, the counselors would tell me to get on him. Yeah. So I would get on him, like beat him up, whatever, make him cry, whatever the case may be. And he would tell my mom, and my mom's telling the people like, look, he need to come back with me. You know what I'm saying? Blah 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 blah. So they ended up taking my. Here's what happened. So they ended up moving me from that group home. Now they moved me to an all boys group home.
Dang. I hated
that. Dang. So I'm out of now I'm just here. Like I'm here with these dudes, and you know what I'm saying? So so my brother, so eventually my brother goes back to my mother, something else happens where he they fall out again. And he gets sent to another foster home. And both of my brothers now are in a foster home, and I'm in a group home, right? So what happened is this. So I'm in this all-boys group home for some time, you know what I'm saying, for some time now. And I come home. I come to I'm still in New York. I'm upstate, though. So I go, my family has a family reunion every year. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that I went to this family reunion. my uncle Chris, who adopted me, he was in the army for 20 years and retired. So I only used to see him like on holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. And he got 3 daughters who I consider like my sisters. They're my sisters now. But back then they was my cousins. We used to all play together and all that. So, so my uncle, we were at this family reunion, and I see my uncle. My dad is still in prison, I think, at this time. Yeah, I think my dad is in prison again at this time. But I'm just at I'm at this family reunion. My grandparents, they used to sometimes take me to see my father in prison. They used to drive upstate to go take me to see him and stuff like that. But so we at this family reunion, and my uncle's, and I got like rags on. Like, I mean, I ain't had, like, I'm living in a group home at this time. I can't do nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like I got on like some whack stuff. So my uncle's like, yo, I'm gonna take you to the store and get you some, I'm gonna get you some clothes. And so he take me to the store, give me like some shoes and some, like some dress up pants and dress up shirt. And so I'm like, okay, and I ain't think nothing of it. So this is right before 9/11 happens in New York. Right before 9/11. And so I go back to the group home or whatever. We had a payphone in the group home, so if somebody called the payphone, who you looking for? You got to go get that person.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, phone call happens and somebody come get me, like, yo, there's a call for you, B. So I go get the call. It's my uncle. So he's like, what's up, man? What's going on? I'm like, what's up, Unc? And he's like, I was talking to your caseworker. And he's like, me and your Aunt Cheryl, we want to, take you in. We want to bring you here to Atlanta, and to live with us. Mm-hmm. He was like, would you be cool with that? And I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm thinking it's like not real. I had lived with my aunt before for a little while. That didn't work out. It just wasn't good. And then this was like in between, like when I went, like from the group home to from the co-ed group home, I went to live with my aunt for a little while. That didn't work, and then I went to the all boys group home. Mm-hmm. But then I went back to the co-ed group home. Then I went to the boys group home. So at this point, I'm just like, I ain't doing nothing. Shoot, why not? I'm stuck at this daggone group home. Like, yeah, I'll come stay with you. And so he was like, all right. He was like, do you want to come before Christmas or after Christmas? And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, probably like, I said, let's do after Christmas. That way I can tell like my friends, what happened or whatever, that I'm leaving and all that, and I can tell my people, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, all right, cool. So 9/11 happens. This was like end of August, something like that. And then 9/11 happens in September, right? And then my uncle calls me and asks me about this, right? So this is just 9/11 just happened.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on.
Right, there's a lot going on. So this is, so he called, he's like, you want to come after Christmas? He called me back like 2 days later. He's like, all right, got your ticket booked December 27th. I was like, Dad, that's right after Christmas.
I think like the next
right,
year,
I'm
like
thinking,
2000.
So I was like, Dad, that's right after Christmas. So he, he got my ticket and brought me out here to Atlanta. So I get out here. Mind you, I never lived in a crib. Like I always lived in apartments, projects. Never had my own room. Never had.
What city you moving to?
Atlanta.
Like the actual city of Atlanta.
Oh no. We moved. He lived in. At the time, he was living in Ellenwood.
Okay.
So it was on the south side.
Yeah.
So this is where I met Dave. Anyway, Dave lived like right around the corner from me.
Okay.
So he went to the same high school with me.
Ah.
Yeah. So I get out there. So I get to the crib. I'm like, dog. Literally, the theme song of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is playing in my head. Literally, bro. I'm pulled up to the crib. I'm like this the crib? Like he's like, yeah. And get in there. Like my mom, my aunt, who I consider my mom, and my sisters, they had went out and bought me like a whole wardrobe. Only thing I had was a little duffel bag full of like probably 2 pants, 2 shirts, some drawers, some socks. I ain't have nothing. Dang. So I get there, and they had went out and bought me a whole wardrobe, like jeans, shirts, Timbs, Air Force Ones. My room has like my own stereo system hanging on the wall, computer with internet. I didn't have no internet. Like
you was really the Fresh Prince.
A TV, my own TV, PlayStation, everything. Like they laid everything out for me, and like that was like the first time where I ever was in like a true family, like traditional family setting, where I saw what it was like to be a family, where I was shown what it was like to be a husband, where I was shown, I was taught how it was to be like a son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had responsibilities, I had chores, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, like if I took care of what I needed to take care of, everything, like they got me anything I wanted. I didn't have to worry about anything. And that was the first time I ever had that happen. I never, always had nothing. So it was crazy because I got to Atlanta and the first thing I did was met the wrong people in school. So I met the wrong people and I started selling weed in school. Selling weed.
What made you want to sell weed though, man? Because you practically have it laid out for you.
So that's coming. So this is how it flipped, right? So I'm selling weed, and one day I get home, and I had like this jean jacket, but it was like warm outside, so I took the jean jacket off, but the inside pocket I had like the weed in my inside pocket, like in a plastic baggie, right? A big plastic baggie. So I'm like holding the jacket, and so my uncle's there. And his good friend from New York, this dude's name is Bear. Shout out to him. And he'll tell you this. I always tell this story. So he sees the weed in my jacket. So he's like, yo, come, let me talk to you, New York dude. So he go in my room, and he's like, what's that? I'm like, what? What you talking about? He grabs my jacket and pulls out the weed. I'm like, dang. I'm like, well, like you see it now. This is what it is. Like it's weed. It's weed.
Right.
Like what you want? I can't say nothing now. So he was like, why are you doing this? Big New York dude, right? So he's like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I ain't have no answer. He was like, look around. He's like, you got everything that you could possibly want right here. He's like, you got a stereo, you got your own room, your bed, your PlayStation,
Yeah, you got it made.
your computer, clothes, everything. Anything that you want, you can go to your aunt and uncle. They're going to get it for you. Why are you doing this? And from that point on, I thought about it, and like something clicked in my head like, you're right. I don't got to do this no more.
Yeah.
Stop. Never sold no drugs ever after that. And like my behavior in school at that point, I was kind of still doing crazy stuff, but I changed it. Like it was like a I don't know, it's like a flip in my head where it was just like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to act this way, you don't have to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And from then on I just, graduated, good grades, probably like a 3.3 GPA, something like that.
So you still would remain a smart kid.
Right, yeah, always been smart. So I got a good score on the SAT, but I was tired of school. I was like, I ain't going to no school. I was like, I don't want to write no more papers and this and that. And so one day I was at home and the military called me. What you plan on doing?
How did they just randomly call you?
They get your number, cause so in school you got to do the practice ASVAB test.
For what?
You just everybody got to do it. You don't have to do that in high school?
No.
Did you go to school here?
I went to school. I finished in North Carolina.
Yeah, in Georgia they make you take the pre-ASVAB test.
Really?
Yeah, and so once you take that, I think they get your information, and then they work with the schools to get kids' names, like of people that might be interested. I guess they can go through the directory of kids in the area and just call. So they just called the number one day and called me, and it was like the guy was like, what you plan on doing? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, the military give you time to make a decision, and you know what I'm saying, and this and that, and he was like, at the time I wanted to go to like Art Institute or Culinary Institute of America to be a chef.
You do cook, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right. So at the time I wanted to do that. So I told him, I was like, I want to be a chef. And he was like, yo, the Navy sends you to culinary school, and you could work for fine dining and all that. So I was like, So I was like, all right, bet. So I signed up. Went to the Navy, 10 years, bro. Like I did 10 years in the Navy. So like people that know me from like New York now, that see me now, like they can't believe it.
That you went to the Navy?
That I'm like,
or just who you are?
Yeah, just who I am today.
Yeah.
It's like,
Thought
you
like you locked up somewhere.
like, yo, so it's like it's like I can't believe it. Like, so it's like you know, but I owe all of that to, you know, my aunt and uncle, like for really, for first off for taking me in, and second off for treating me like, you know, really like their son. Like they never treated me like no different, like not like a stepchild. They didn't have to beat me to get me to do stuff. Like they didn't have to, you know what I'm saying, do none of that. They just, you know, they were my uncle, he was strict, like, and like Dave will tell you, and like my friends will tell you, like he was strict. I used to be on punishment, and I used to be on punishment. I don't know what I used to be on punishment for, probably for talking in class or something, because my teachers would email my uncle if I did something. So he was like on me like that.
Yeah.
But like I used to be on punishment, and Dave didn't care. So Dave would just come to my crib. Like he's like, Unc, you say he couldn't leave. You didn't say nobody couldn't come. And yo,
typical day.
Yo, so he like, yo, so we be in my room like making shirts and stuff like that. Like this is before Sleepers for Suckers was even thought of. And we like, that's one thing I can say about Dave. Like he didn't care. Like he was like, I'm gonna come see my boy.
I can see that too.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's visiting me in prison or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, yo, you can't come out, but yo, I'm gonna come through. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he used to just come through, and you know what I'm saying? But I used to be on punishment for stupid stuff. But
so was there ever a time where you just wanted to like up and leave your uncle's house and just kind of like go back to the freedom of what you did as a kid?
Nah, because I understood like that freedom came with a cost. Like that freedom. Because I had freedom with my uncle, but it was like secure freedom. Like I knew that like I could make a mistake, and it was still like he would still be there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as I didn't like do something really really bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if I did some silly stuff, I knew I was gonna get, you know, in trouble for it, but it wasn't gonna be like the end of the world. Whereas the freedom that I had in New York was like so my godbrother Kenny, my cousins, all those ones I was telling you, gang members, all went to prison. all like just living that life, and like they can't get above it. I was proud of my cousin. I won't say his name, but he finally got out of New York. And when my grandfather passed away a couple years ago, we were at the funeral, and I was telling him like, bro, you got to get out of New York. And he got a twin brother, and I was identical twin. So I was telling him, I was like, bro, you got to get out of New York, bro, to change your surroundings. Yeah. Right? I was like, and him and his brother is real tight. They twins. So like everything they would get into would be together. So they went to prison, you know, they were back and forth. And he was like, yo, you right, B. And he moved. He moved to Atlanta a couple years ago. He was staying with my grandmother for a little while, but he got his bread up. Then he moved like to North Carolina or something. Now he's doing real good. Like he got his own truck, where he's like doing like Xfinity or installing cable, and stuff like that. Independent contractor.
Word, okay.
So he got his own truck where he's doing independent contracting.
That's dope.
And then he he goes and like mounts people's TVs and stuff like that, you know, as a little side hustle. But he got his own crib now, like he's doing good. And I was like, I'm proud of him, because I feel like if I would have been in New York, we'd have all been in the same boat. Like I'd have been in prison. I'd have been like 10 baby mamas. Like one of my cousins has my twin cousin that I was telling you about. His brother's got like 20 kids, bro.
20 kids?
20 kids. Like,
ain't no way.
Like 17 baby mamas. Not lying. Wouldn't lie to you, brother.
How he taking care of 20 kids?
I mean, you know.
I mean,
getting it some kind of way, right? Getting it some kind of way, but like, you know, you say like, did I ever want to leave my uncle's house and like go back to that freedom? Like that freedom comes with a cost, bro. Like you can, like everybody has the freedom to do what they want to do.
Absolutely.
But you also you got to deal with those consequences. So like, you know, now it's like, I got a family, I got, you know, my kids I got to take care of. I got to make sure that everything is right for them, and I'm trying to teach them at an early age. And it's hard too, because I feel like a lot of this, like, somebody asked me like if I resent having to go through all of that stuff, and it's crazy because I don't, because I feel like all of that stuff that I went through gave me the character to be who I am today. So I feel like if you don't go through some amount of struggle or some amount of pain, you almost feel entitled to the good stuff. And me and my wife was talking the other day about like the kids and them feeling entitled because our kids, like whatever they want, we get it.
Right.
Like it's not like it's like because we have it.
Right.
So it's like, why can't I get this for them? Why can't I do this for them? But they feel now it's like we at their every beck and call. Like I need to do this, I need to do that, and we do it. And I tell my wife, we gotta slow down a little bit.
So what is your motive, or not motive, but like what's the way that you believe you can actually like slow that down and kind of like transform that in your kids?
So the best way I think so, and I've got the example. So my little brother, you've met Judah.
Yeah, yep.
So Judah was living with my mother in California after the foster homes and all that stuff. And he was living with my mother in California. And Judah's a really good kid. Really good, smart kid, good kid, doesn't get in trouble. But at the time he was going through it with my mother because my mother, she has some deep line issues. She really needs to get some help, but she won't because she feels like God got her. God got her, right? So my brother, he went missing. And my mother called me. She's like, I don't know where he is, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, don't worry about it. So me and my other brother, we actually got custody of Judah. And Judah came to stay with me. So when Judah was 11 years old, he came to stay with me. And I raised Judah.
Now, Judah was 11. How old were you?
I'm 12 years older than Judah.
Okay.
So
That's
I was 22, something like that.
Yep.
So 22 years old. So at 22, Judah comes to live with me. And basically, so I raised Judah all the way through high school. So he went to stay with my brother for a little while I was in the military, and I had to go on the ship and go on deployment. But then he came back to live with me. And when I got out the military and I came back to Atlanta, he was living me and Dave had a house over there in Stone Mountain. It was me, him, and Dave living in a house together. So like he went all his high school, finished here, top of his class, like Georgia Merit Scholarship, all that kind of stuff. But like, and I tell, you talk about, how do you do that with your kids? Like I did it with Judah because like Judah, I didn't like at his every beck and call. I wouldn't do everything for him. And people couldn't understand like sometimes why I was so hard on him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes like girls at the time that I used to deal with be like, you really hard on Judah. And I used to be like, yeah, but I mean, because I think you gotta have some kind of structure and you can't have the feeling of entitlement.
Absolutely.
Even though I have it, like I can't just always give it to you because then you feel like it's due to you without you reaching for it or doing for it. You know what I'm saying? So now Judah, like, Judah, everybody loves Judah. And like even my wife was saying the other day, she was like, man, I see it. She was like, I see what you're saying because I see how Judah is. And Judah is really thankful like for everything that he has in his life and from what he went through and to now, like he's doing really good. Like he's a young kid, got his own place, got his own job, taking care. He was going to college. He doesn't want to finish it. But, we're doing some other things like with the government contract and stuff like that. So, but he's a really stand-up dude. You know what I'm saying? So she saw that, like, she was like, yeah, I think, because I told her, like, she does too much. Like, and she'll go out of her way. She'll be uncomfortable. She'll put too much burden on herself every day, and it'll stress her out to where now the kids just automatically feel like anytime I call mom and ask for something, she gonna do it, no matter what. Like I'm quit. No, you gotta go to you gotta go to training or whatever. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Call one of your friends. Call an Uber. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out. I used to tell Judah that Judah was on a wrestling team, and Judah, like, he would be like, yo, can you come pick me up from school? No, walk. It's the walk.
How far is this walk?
Maybe 2 miles, something like that. It wasn't something crazy.
Yeah.
It was walkable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like when I got to Atlanta, and my uncle, we lived like probably 2 miles from my school. And at first he started out dropping me off at school at the corner, and then he stopped. and because he had to go another way or something like that for traffic or something like that. So I just had to figure it out. I used to call my friends that had cars, people in the neighborhood. Sometimes I walked, but most of the time I found somebody that, one of my homies, one of my friends, and they would pick me up for school in the neighborhood. Like, it first off, it makes you go out and use your resources.
Yeah, you really want to be a hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if there's something that you got to deal with that you don't have the means to deal with, you learn how to find out how to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So if it's something that you really want to do, it's like, and you got your mom, every time you say, Mom, can you take me here? Mom, can you do this for me? Mom, can you do that? And they just keep saying yes, 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 yes. You're never told no. The one time you're told no, oh, mom's a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would she tell me no? You always tell me yes.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? For me, it's the opposite, right? I say no all the time. So the time I do say yes, it's like, dang.
You for real?
Yeah. And it's not for like serious stuff, but like little stuff like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not that one that you just always gonna be like, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me?
Right.
No, figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
I like that. I like that. I think oftentimes kids kind of get so much handed to them that it kind of cripples them.
It does.
In older age.
It does. It really does, bro. It does because, like, it's like, and especially kids that have always had. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like me and Judah, we didn't have when we were growing up.
So y'all knew how to go get.
We had nothing.
Right.
So it's like, but when you in a situation like my kids, they never had to worry about nothing. Mm-hmm. Never. Like, there's always food on the table, the lights always on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they never have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you build that balance between teaching them how to value what they have versus just giving it to them? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a thin line. So I think that the best way to do it is to have that balance of like the parents in the house.
Yep.
Like almost like a good cop, bad cop type situation. So one parent is always like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for you. The other parent's gonna be like, nah,
we ain't doing
but
that.
We ain't doing that. And like, if I really if I really tell her not to be doing all this stuff, like she'd have to slow down. Like I want to tell her to like take time for yourself. Like she'll like zigzag like out of the way. I just be like, it's too much. You're doing too much on yourself.
Absolutely.
And in the end, it's not even truly appreciated. It is, but it's taken for granted because you've been doing it for so long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if every day I gave you a lollipop, right? Every single day of your life I gave you a lollipop. The one day that I don't give you a lollipop, you're gonna think I'm the worst person ever because you're so accustomed to me giving. You forgot about all the lollipops I gave you for the past 15 years. The one day you don't give me a lollipop, you like, what's wrong with you? Like, where my lollipop at?
For sure.
And that's the entitlement because you expect it every day. You expect a lollipop. When you take the lollipop away, it's like, dang, if I really want a lollipop, I got to figure out how to get it. So I think that kids need to have that. They need to feel what it feels like to have to go get something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they need that. So I mean, that's where we at today with it, man. That's where I'm at today with it. Through all of that, foster homes, group homes, detention centers, all of that. And I'm still standing, still strong. You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, my passion is working with kids.
Yeah.
So like I work with young men. I coach high school football. I'm the athletic director of a youth football park. So a lot of those kids don't have a male father figure in their life. So, coaches and guys like me are people that pour into their lives to tell them like, look, somebody cares about you and you can take your energy and your frustrations out here on this football field. Yeah. Along with being healthy and in shape and those type of things. So like that's my main thing right now is just coaching, taking care of my family, making sure that they're good. My youngest son, he plays basketball. I'm making sure I'm there for all of that. So, yeah, man, it's been a long, windy journey. And there's a lot more details that I probably left out in this interview. Man. But they always Nas got a song that he did a long time ago, and he said, if they wrote a book on your life, do you think anybody would read it? And I think people would read my book.
Absolutely.
Because if like
you ever thought about it?
I thought about it. Yeah, I thought about it.
So let me ask you a question. So, do you ever find yourself like going back to as an adult now? Do you ever find yourself going back to your childhood and reflecting on, of course, not how far you've come, but like those really dark moments?
Yep.
And how do you handle those?
Yeah, I do. I think about that stuff a lot. I think about that stuff a lot because I think that I think like that struggle gives you character. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was just up here like and everything in my life was good, first off, you wouldn't even have me on the show.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? Like
We're scratching this episode.
you know what I'm saying? Like if I didn't have nothing to talk about, like like because I think about this, like what would my life be like if my aunt and my uncle was my real parents? I think about that all the time because my sisters.
What are your thoughts behind that? Like, what do you
I think I would be a different person.
Like how do you think you'd be different? Like if your aunt and uncle, who are your technically your parents now,
Yep.
if they would say they've given birth to a Brandon, what would be different?
I just feel like I wouldn't have had to go through. I wouldn't have dealt with the kind of things I had to build up like a emotional barrier to things. Like I had to build up so I almost created like a negative expectation for everything in my life. It was hard for me to expect good things.
So when good things come, you're like,
I'm like, man, this is great.
behind this is like there's something bad still.
Well, if good things happen, I would be so happy that something good happened. I wouldn't even think about the bad because good things rarely happen to me. So it was like I had to create like this really strong mental wall to struggle. Like it would, because it was like struggle was just a part of my like it was just struggle was
That was
there.
just your everyday-
That was it.
yeah.
It was struggle.
So do it scare you to, as an adult, does it scare you to find your place, like yourself going back to a place of struggle?
I mean, I would never go back to a place of struggle.
You never say never. Things happen.
I mean, like
COVID just happened, world shut down. Like at that moment, like the world shutting down, because you weren't working during COVID, right? Because you retired already, right?
no, I was so
Were you at Lockheed Martin still?
yeah, I was at Lockheed still when COVID happened. I was
So
at
like
Lockheed.
did that moment, like when they say the world shutting down, jobs may be lost, did that kind of like take you back, like, oh, my child, like here comes struggle again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so because I think that I've learned that no matter what, I can always make it work somehow. Like somehow I'm gonna figure out how to make sure my family's good, how to make sure we eating, how we got make sure we got a roof over our head. I'm gonna figure that part out.
Got you.
Like, and once you learn that, it's almost like riding a bike. Like, once you learn how to ride a
Like,
bike,
soon
you can
as-
not ride
yeah,
a
you
bike
gonna
for
keep
10
on-
years.
right,
Exactly.
right.
But it's like, and I feel like, I've surrounded myself with people who, if I don't have the idea, I can get the idea from them. I.e. you, David. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being around that circle, I'm going to figure something out.
Right.
I'm not just going to be out here struggling crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I won't let it happen. So, and that's a different mindset, but that mindset comes from having to struggle and figuring out how to come from that struggle
Right.
to success. And so that's really what my story is about. Just, struggling through all of that, because you hear somebody that went through, some of the things that I went through as a kid, and to hear that they're successful now. And I remember one time I called my caseworker randomly.
You still have your
This was-
contact for your caseworker?
No, so I called. So it was weird. So I had this girl reached out to me that I was in a group home with, right? And she had got deported back to Jamaica, and she was asking if I knew anybody in the States that could help. She was born in the States, but they didn't have a birth certificate. So she was like, do you know anybody?
That's crazy. They deport a kid though.
They no, because her mother. So her mother was Jamaican. She came to the States, had her in the States.
Right, so
then
she's
the mother
not-
went back to Jamaica. So that's how she got in the system. Like she was like left. I don't know if she was left there or something happened where she was put in the system anyway. But if she was born in America
She's
and
a
she was in
citizen.
the system, she's a citizen. So she was asking me, could I find like a contact from the group home we were in together to try to track down some of her records. So I did some calling for her, and I tried to find the group home. The group home we were in was shut down, but there was some contact that gave me a number to call, and I found a number. And then on the directory that I found, my caseworker's name was on there.
Word.
My old caseworker. Her name was Debbie. And so I called, and she was working in a different department and all that, and she was like, hello, you know, so I'm talking to her about, you know, this girl.
Yeah.
And then I said, do you remember me? And she was like, what? And she was like, who are you? And I was like, you know,
Oh, the whole time you never introduced yourself.
I didn't introduce myself. I'm asking on behalf of this girl, like if there was records that we could find or whatever, and this and that. She was, you know, going through the whole, yeah, you know, I may be able to do blah blah blah, you know. So she's like, you know, I said, I remember you very well. I was like, I hope that you remember me. And she was like, who are you? And I was like, I don't know if you remember. And I didn't say who I was, but I said, I don't know if you remember a lady that was, you were the caseworker for. She had 3 children, and I was talking about some of the issues that we dealt with. And she was like, Brandon? And I was like, yep. And she was like, oh my God. It was crazy. Like, she was like, I can't believe this is you. I was telling her, you know what I'm saying, everything. Like, you know, I went to the military. At the time, I was still working at Lockheed. I was like, I'm working at Lockheed, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm married, got kids, you know, this and that. She was like, it really, she said, of all the meddling that we do in people's lives, meaning Child Protective Services, she's like, it's good to know that sometimes it works.
Yeah.
That sometimes it works. Because I'm sure a lot of the cases she's dealt with have went bad or south. You know what I'm saying? Just every day. So she's like, it's good to know that sometimes it works. So it was crazy. I just kind of wanted to mess with her a little bit, but she was so shocked to hear about everything, and she had so many questions. And but yeah, man.
So to this day, do you and your mom have a relationship?
I don't talk to my mother at all. I don't talk to my mother at all. I talk to my father. I talk to my father because I don't know why I talk to him, but I talk to him because he'll reach out to me. I don't call him, but he'll call me. He just called me last night, as a matter of fact, just randomly.
He's still incarcerated, or he's like
No, he's out now. He's out. He's not doing. His health is not doing too good right now, so I don't think he knows how much longer he has.
So he's trying to kind of make amends and stuff like that.
Yeah, in his own kind of way. Like, it ain't, you know. So but my mother, like, we don't. If I had a conversation with my mother, she'd probably tell me I was like demon possessed or something. Like,
Still to this day, you believe that?
No, it's it. Like last conversation I had with her.
What's the last time you talked to her?
Years. It's been years. It's been years. My brothers talked to her. So like Judah told me he talked to her like a couple weeks ago or something like that. But I just.
How does he say she's doing? Or you really don't care?
Nah, I mean, not that I don't care. I mean, I want to know that she's doing okay, but he'll tell me, like, if I talked to Mom the other day, you know, she doing all right. All right, cool. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she all right, cool, whatever.
That's all she's still living.
Yeah, she's still living.
And she's still in New York?
No, she moved to California.
Oh, wow.
And so she had a vision from God that she was supposed to move to San Jose, California.
And that's where she's at today.
She up and moved, took Judah. That's when I remember I had to go get Judah.
Yeah.
I had to get him from California because she had just moved from New York, went to California, had no money, no job. My mother's had probably 1 or 2 jobs her whole life. She was a waitress at a Friendly's restaurant one time for a couple months, and then she worked at this place called Chris Country Deli for maybe a couple weeks, and that was it. So it was like she moved, no money, no house, no family, nobody there. She had nobody there.
No plan, just like, yo, I got this vision from God.
She got a vision. She got a vision from God. She packed everybody up. She ended up having 2 more children. So she had 3 more children. 3 more children. So the day I left to go to Atlanta, she came to the group home to visit me, and she had just had a baby girl.
Oh, so you have more siblings?
Yeah. Well, and then I have 2 more sisters we have the same father. So I had 2 sisters. So
total is what?
So
7?
So total is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8. I have 7 siblings. And then of course I consider my
Your
three
uncle? Yeah,
sisters.
yeah.
I consider them my sisters. So for me, it's 10. Now, so the day I left to go to Atlanta, she had my baby sister with her. I held her for like 5 minutes. She snatched her back from me, and then I left. And then she ended up having 2 more boys by another guy. So, and I don't have a relationship with them at all. Like I saw my sister when she was a baby, and then the 2 young boys, I haven't met them at all. So I have no relationship with them whatsoever. So.
How does it make you feel?
Sad. I feel sad because I feel like they're in a situation where they're like kind of being like brainwashed. And like for instance, like my sister, the baby she's maybe this is what 2001. She was a baby, so she's about 20 years old now. But she's never went to school.
Her whole life.
Whole life, she's been homeschooled by my mother. The 2 young boys, because remember, I was 6 or 7 years old when this started with my mom.
Yeah.
So before I had already.
So she's been carrying it on.
Yeah. So, but I was 6 years old, so I already had been in school for a little while, and I had already made some friends.
To the
you know what I'm saying?
Whatnot.
Yeah. Like I knew a contrast. They don't know a contrast.
All they know is homeschool.
All they know is what she's giving them.
Wow.
So they're brainwashed to the effect of like everything she says is
that's the gospel.
That's what it is. So I feel sad for them in that aspect. Like the girl, she's 20 years old, no schooling. She can't go to college. She don't have a GED. How is she gonna be like a successful? How's she gonna be a successful human? Like how can she?
So she really just probably doing the same workbooks that you probably been doing, like go to this Walmart, grab a workbook.
Same nutty stuff. Like she's got like a elementary education, and I haven't talked to her, but Judah has talked to her.
And what is he saying? Like the conversation
same thing. It's just like she don't really like. She sounds like talking to our mother.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything that comes out of her mouth is like something that my mother would say. Like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. That's how my mother talked. Like, if you call her, good morning, praise Yahweh. Like it's like that. Like it's like to a 1,000th degree. The holiness is 1,000th degree. And the crazy thing with me is, and why my faith is so obscure. It's a good word for it. Why my faith is so obscure. Remember we talked about it, right? So as a kid, and we didn't go to church, I remember my life being great. And then we started going to church, and my life is terrible now.
So what are your views on church now?
I don't go to church.
Okay, why not?
What is my view on faith or church?
Let's say church and then faith.
So church, I just disagree with it altogether.
Why is that?
I disagree with the methodology of going to like tithing and all that. I tithing, going to church, because I feel like church has become entrepreneurship, cloaked in religion.
Expound on that.
Yo, so, all right, so, like, for instance, you know how people go to class to learn how to do stocks, or learn how to do Forex, or go to class to learn how to do DISC, right? I can go to seminar to learn how to preach a sermon. I can get a building like this and get people to come to it and pay me money to talk to them. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a hustle.
Yeah.
That's a hustle. I can do that. Like I'm well spoken. And I've read the Bible through and through. I could preach you a sermon right now on this. Like off the top of the dome, I could probably go through something and have you be like, man, praise the Lord. I could do that. And get you to tithe 10% of your money to me.
Now, do you feel that your view on, of course, I believe, of course, your view on church has stemmed from your mom's relationship with church?
Yeah.
Has there been a point in time where you feel like, well, maybe I should separate that?
Yes.
And give it another shot?
Yes.
Multiple
times.
And it still didn't.
So when I was in the military and I was living in Jacksonville, I had a friend of mine And she encouraged me to come to church with her, a real good friend of mine. And I went and I liked it. You know, the sermon was good. I'm not gonna say that I don't like church because I think that a lot of the messages in church are good.
Yeah.
And they're inspirational. I love gospel music. Like I was brought up on like that old school gospel music, so I'll listen to that. And like, you know, just it brings me back. But, you know what I'm saying? Like choir music, I just love that. But I think that a lot of the messages are inspirational. But here's what I think about religion as a whole. Most religions have those same inspirational messages. If unless you like worshiping Satan or something, you know what I'm saying? Like the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, what Confucius said, what Buddha said, all of it has some version of love your neighbor like yourself. Treat people how you want to be treated. Right. You know what I'm saying? Karma comes back around type, you know what I'm saying? Karma comes back around. And my thing is, you know when you're doing something wrong versus you know when you're doing something right. Yeah. I don't need a manual I don't need a book to tell me that this is wrong too. Like, I just don't need that. Like, cause I know it's embedded in me, like this is something good and this is something bad. And so like you said, I did try to go back to church and like accept the relationship as my own versus it being forced upon me when I was a kid. Cause I remember being a kid, and I'm in these churches where they dancing and hollering and screaming, right? And I used to go get my hands laid on in the church. They put oil on my head. So I'm gonna tell you. So I'm at this camp meeting, right? We used to go to these camp meetings. They used to just be like in a tent, bro. And it's like we smell it like skin so soft, everything, because the mosquitoes is out. Yeah. And like it used to go tent revival. That's what it was. A revival. And I'm in there getting hands laid on me. It's like 5-6 preachers. The great, just spitting on my face and everything, just going bananas, bro. And I remember saying to myself, I asked my mother one day, I was like, so she used to do all the dancing and just like, she used to go ham with it. So I remember asking her one day, like, when that happens, what happens? Like, how do you feel? And she was like, I feel like, like something takes over me and just takes control of my body and I can't help it. So I said to myself, well, I'm never gonna, because I used to think people was faking. I was like, y'all faking, this is not real, right? And I said, I'm never gonna do it until I feel that. Like, I feel like I can't control it. Like, so I got these preachers, we at the revival, they just, bless the Lord, and we pray, and they just going ham, right? And I'm just like, I don't feel it yet. I was like, should I dance? Should I, you know what I'm saying? Like, should I do something? It got to a point where they was praying so long, I was like, I gotta do something, they're never gonna stop. I was like, they're never gonna stop. I gotta dance or fall out or something, bro. It was crazy, bro. So I did like a little and he's got the spirit. And in my mind, I was like, that moment, I was like, this is some foolery, bro. I was like, this is foolery, bro. They not out here. It's no way, bro. Like, and then you know how folks just be like dance on command, like just once you hear that music, and they just come on, bro. The spirit that hits you just when that song came on, bro. Right? Just come on, bro. Like, and I mean, and I make fun of it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, whatever it takes to get you to be a good person is, I can't knock anything that you're doing as long as you're being a good person. Yeah. Like, people have different views and different religions, but we all know how to be good people. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that, you know what I'm saying? And I love people, so it's like, especially our people, you know what I'm saying? But like Dave's got a different religion, you got a different religion. I don't really have a religion, but I believe in a higher power. I do believe in that. I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in like a destiny for you, for everyone. I feel that, but I can't categorize it as, if you're not a Christian, you're going to hell. Yeah. If you're not a Muslim, you're going to hell. Right. If you don't believe in Vishnu, from India. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't go to heaven. Like I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You believe there's more than one way.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, because I believe you just like I believe that God knows our heart, and He knows like what we mean when we do things. You can't. That's one thing you can't hide from. Like if you believe in God, you can't hide from God. Right?
Absolutely.
You can't. You can't. I can't. I could say something to you, but I could be thinking in my mind like I want to kill Joe.
Yeah.
I can't hide that from God.
Right.
God
right.
knows I want to kill you. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like the God that I believe in knows my heart, and He knows that I want to be a good person. I want to do right to people, and I want to bring good into the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to bring positivity and goodness and help people. So that's my religion take, I guess. But I mean,
No, I dig it, man.
I could sit here and quote any Bible verse you want, man. But I mean, and I think that the Bible has a lot of good lessons and a lot of good teachings in it. You know, things Jesus said were good teachings, as well as in the Quran and the Torah, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a kid, I was really confused about religion because I was being forced to be in one religion,
one thing, and then
but I was so inquisitive where I wanted to know about like why is Islam wrong, or why, you know what I'm saying, why is this religion wrong? So I would go get books and read about different religions and understand like what it is that they were preaching and what it is that they believe in, so that I got a good, well-rounded view of it's not just one person telling me that this is it. If you don't believe this right here, like you're going to the lake of fire and burn forever. Like I used to hate that. Like when the preachers say that, like hell, I'm going to hell forever and burn forever and don't die. That's terrible, bro.
yeah, terrible life
That's
to
terrible.
live.
Right. That's terrible. But I mean, you know, some people need that, I guess. I feel like I don't need that.
Not at all. Not at
No,
all.
I'm saying not that they need that, but need that to
kind of
make
help
them
live, to be the good person you're
exactly.
talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what a lot of it is. It's like a scare tactic. Like I feel like scare religion. I don't like scare religion.
Yeah.
Like when you got to try to scare, like you got to scare me into believing what you believe. Like that's crazy to me.
Absolutely.
Like why you got to scare me? Like just. Or when the religion is too when a religion is too has too many like traditions and things that you have to do in order to make it to this level of religionness. Like why I gotta do all that? Like I can't eat this. I gotta dress this way. I gotta look this way. I gotta talk like this. I gotta pray 6 times a day. I gotta face the sun. Why I gotta do all that? Like that stuff came from man, bro.
Absolutely.
That didn't come from God. That stuff came from man. Like because. Like I said, it's a hustle, and this is my opinion. It's all a hustle. Like at that point in time, you know, back in the day when religions was being started, all of that, like those people that were the highest revered people were the people that were heading these religions.
Yeah.
They got all the money. They got all the women they wanted. They got all the attention, the status of being a priest or a rabbi or whatever the case may be. So like all of that tradition, like where do you get like the Catholic faith? Where do they get like confession, or where do they get the robes that they wear, or where do they get like the swinging of the incense? All that stuff is man-made, bro. That's man-made. Now a lot of that stuff comes from different religions that were mingled into that religion. They used to do that like pagan religions used to do that stuff. Like with the incense and decorating stuff really nice and all that kind of stuff. So, and I don't even think like that necessarily was a bad thing, paganism. That's just what they believed in at the time. That was just
Interesting take.
That was just their thoughts. They didn't have back then. Jesus hadn't came yet, right? So they didn't know about Jesus,
right?
So
I never thought about that.
Yeah, like they didn't have that then. Like so think about it like this. This is what I think about religion too. Like, say you were part of like a mountain tribe in the Himalayas, right? You're part of a mountain tribe that's untouched by humans. I mean, untouched by the outside civilization. So you've been living in this mountain, you and your family, for generations and generations. Your great grandfather, your grandmother, everybody, and y'all believe in whatever God or spirits that let's just say spirits of the mountain y'all believe in, right? You personally have witnessed your brother or somebody or your family member being sick and them going to like a witch doctor or a shaman or something and them putting some herbs on them and blah, 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 and praying to the spirit guides, and now they're healed. What could make you believe if a white man came onto the mountain one day with a Bible and a collar and told you about Jesus or told you about Allah or whoever, told you about another religion? How could they make you change your religion? I've been on this mountain for my whole life. I seen my brother was sick and we prayed to the spirit of the mountain and now he's healed, right? Your Jesus or your Muhammad never did nothing for me. It was the spirit of the mountain. Why would I change my religion? Why? But the way Christianity and Islam would say, you're going to hell, Joe. You can't believe in no spirit of the mountain. You're going to hell, bro.
I've never thought about it that way.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. I'm just up here with my family doing my thing on this mountain, and you come tell me I'm going to hell because you believe something. I believe something too, and we've been good. We Gucci over here. That's what I think about religion. It's a hustle, bro. If I was trying to make the biggest religion in the world and get the most money out of it, I'd go everywhere telling everybody about it and make them believe. If they don't believe it, you're gonna die in a lake of fire and burn forever. If you don't believe what I'm telling you, Joe, you're gonna go to hell, which means you're not just going, hell is just not a place where you just go and everything is cool, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna burn forever.
Right.
You're on fire forever for eternity. And I'm like, dang, eternity? That's a long time, bro. That's a long time. Maybe I should believe what dude talking about, because we don't believe that over here on the mountain. Mm-hmm. We just believe when we die, we become one with the mountain or whatever. We meet up with our ancestors and guide our kids or whatever the case may be. But I don't do scare religion, bro. I don't do it, bro. Can't do it.
You're intellectual.
A little bit.
A lot of it. A lot of it, man. You open my eyes just to kind of just different things, you know, because I've known like your story and stuff, but it goes deeper.
Yeah.
It goes a lot deeper than what we know it to be, man. And I appreciate you coming through. We're gonna do a quick commercial break, and then I'm trying to close out with something if you have anything left, and then that'd be a wrap. This episode is sponsored by the Embolden Institute, the only place that I know that sends out daily texts and affirmations to allow for you to be encouraged, to allow for you to heal and go through whatever journey that you went through. We go through it together. So text me 404-476-6780. That's 404-476-6780. You can text me the word heal to that same number, and I send out just pretty much just inspirational stuff that comes to you daily, live to your phone, or you text me the word affirmation or affirmations if you're the person who got to put the S on things. Had to catch that. So if that is you, text me 404-476-6780. Get on my text line. We can talk. It's no robots. It's no VA. It's all me. I'm texting you throughout the day, helping you just kind of get on your journey and trying to just get your life path right. So, Brandon, what you got?
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you, man. Got a chance to sit here and talk, which is what I like to do. Tell my story. So if I had to give anything to the people watching, your situation doesn't define you, right? So anything that you go
Episode
through,
title.
your situation doesn't define you. You can always find a way to do better than what you're doing.
Keep going.
You can always find a way to do better. You can always find a way to do better than what you're doing. And as long as you do it from a place of love and a place of humility, you'll be all right.
That's it. It gets no better than that. We out. Peace.